Okay, so this morning's topic is accepting responsibility. What does that mean? Well, it means, in actuality, that we create our reality 100%. It is a co-creation, of course. You know, we're not just doing what we do and nobody else is participating. It's a co-creation. There's a lot of information that's come out since the movie The Secret that's helping people to manifest, create what they want, create their dream, create their reality. And what people also are beginning to really understand with all the different teachings out there is that your subconscious is what dictates what you create, what you're going to bring to you, what you're going to draw to you. What most people may not realize is that your emotional energy that's in your soul energy field, what I call your soul imprint, carries with it all of your incarnational experiences. Meaning, from the very, very, very beginning, when you first incarnated into physical form, whatever you have lived, whatever you have experienced, unless you release that energy out of your energy field, out of the physical body, it is still with you. If you have had 500 lifetimes, 100 lifetimes, 50 lifetimes, 10 lifetimes, you're still going to have all that energy in your energy field because most people have never discovered, never learned, never were taught how to release the energy. So I want to just speak about that just briefly. In order to release the energy, let's just say, for example, you experience a trauma. You experience something that causes you to feel, let me just, hang on a second, let me just track somebody. Let me just see here who I want to look at. Okay, so let's just say in a long, long time past incarnation experience, you experienced like a major betrayal. What I mean by the betrayal is the energy that I'm watching, looking at right now, is being in your life, being in your people, with your people, your family, and an external force comes in, and let's say they attack the family, they kill your children, and cause harm to the wife, you know, rape her in front of you. So the energy, the trauma that you experience, and then they beat you up really bad. You don't die, but pretty close to death. And you're going to anchor in lots of different feelings. One of them may be that you're going to feel victimized. The other is you might feel a sense of betrayal, or that you're being punished, or that God itself is rejecting you or punishing you. You must be doing something wrong. So there's all kinds of feelings that get anchored into your body emotionally. If that intense feeling, that trauma doesn't get released, meaning you don't let the energy move through the body with pure consciousness and awareness while staying present inside, then you're going to carry that energy over, and what that does is because it's still in your energy field and you're still trying to unravel it, then your next incarnation, you're going to bring again different situations, scenarios that are going to literally trigger that energy feeling inside of your physical body so that you can unravel it. But what people don't understand is that's what's happening. You're not being punished, you're not being hurt, you're not being blamed, you're not being victimized. You yourself are calling in the experience so that you can unravel the trauma that's still lodged inside your physical body. And of course, we don't know that. There's no teachings except for the handful of people on a spiritual path. A lot of it's in the mystery school teachings. But basically, most of humanity has no clue, so again, it becomes victimization. Once you have these victimization experiences, then you start anchoring in beliefs, and you also begin to draw conclusions, and then you also make promises to yourself that you're never going to trust again, you're never going to open your heart again, you can't love all the way because love hurts, love's going to go away. All the different scenarios that have contributed to this belief, you know, it took many, many experiences for you to anchor that in really deeply. That feeling of being forsaken. I mean, most people aren't really living a situation where they're going to feel forsaken, and yet that feeling arises within when situations occur where we feel like loss or blamed or judged or rejected or hurt, or we're despondent or we're despaired or we're just depressed or we're having anxiety, we want to blame something else. The teachings are not here. They're not public. That you create your reality, that you are creator incarnate, that everything you are bringing to you, I don't care if it's I don't care if it's a little car accident or you bring someone into your life and then they abandon you or reject you or, cause harm. You have drawn that to you for the very purpose of unraveling your soul's trauma, your past life incarnational trauma. So taking responsibility is a huge step. Once you start taking responsibility for your life, for your actions, for your experiences, then you'd automatically stop blaming somebody else. Okay, so even with kids, you got kids and they don't do what you want, or they get in trouble or whatever. And so there's this energy that you want to be mad at them or make them wrong or punish them, and maybe that you feel like they're doing something to you. How many times have you even said, "Why are you doing this to me? Why are you making me feel this way?" That's always a good stuff right there, okay? So, and I'm sure too, you've experienced somebody blaming you. "Why are you making me feel this way?" Someone saying that to you. Maybe you've done something. It's not like, most people are not intentionally thinking about, okay, I'm gonna really mess this person up. I'm gonna lie and steal and cheat and do all kinds of things to cause that person harm. That's not in your mind thoughts. You're doing it because of what's inside. You're doing it because of what's in the subconscious. You're doing it because you haven't unraveled all this emotional wounding that is still inside your soul imprint, that is still buried in your subconscious, and that is why you're experiencing what you are. And there's no one to blame. Who are you going to blame? You had an experience. You co-created something. So if we go back to that story that I was referring to, and we track back even further, then we get a sense of, in the previous life, no, hang on, wait. 3 lifetimes before that, the same person who lost his family also did heinous crimes to other people, including the ones who attacked him and his family, and it just keeps going on and on and on. Usually it starts off with like something occurs and then somebody gets hurt. What happens when we get hurt is we get upset, we get angry, and when we get angry, we want to lash out. We want to cause harm to somebody else. That's the typical human emotional experience is, you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back. Okay? So as we start waking up to the truth, to the fact, to the reality, that we are creating our reality, we are co-creating it with everyone, then we start to pull ourselves out of that victim mentality, thinking that we're being victimized, thinking that why isn't it working, what's happening? It's like coming out of the fog with that is a really long, intense journey. I remember when I was teaching, this is way back in the 90s, teaching classes in the 90s and even in the early 2000s, in the Know Thyself program, which was specifically waking up consciousness. It took people 2 years typically to finally anchor in, I'm the one having a reaction. That means there's something inside of me that's reacting to the situation. This is my opportunity to discover and unravel the pain in whatever I lived and stop to blame other people. 2 years of conscious teachings. Because we're so ingrained in this reality that everything's like being done to us. We're victims all the time. And it simply isn't true. And yet that is the energy field, the frequency that we have on the earth plane. So as we start waking up and realizing, I'm co-creating this. It's not about something's being done to me. There's something in me that's drawing it to me like a magnet so that I can unravel and be done with this. It's such a, it's really, because we have all these mindsets and all these beliefs, okay? So also what I find with any situation, somewhere you decided that it's not okay, it's not safe, it's not beneficial to let your heart be open. So you start closing and protecting the heart. Well, guess what happens when you protect your heart? You also hide your true divine self. Okay, look at little babies, little children, before they start getting all their wounding. They're pretty free, they're pretty liberated, they're just doing what they do, crying when they cry, wanting what they want, not thinking anything wrong with it, and they start discovering that it's not okay to want something, that there's something wrong or bad for having a need or a want, and then they get in trouble, they get punished, and then they feel bad, the victim starts coming out, poor me, nobody loves me, nobody wants me. This is where a lot of that feeling comes in, where people feel unloved. They feel like, you know, nobody wants me, I'm so unloved, I must be the, you know, the adopted child, I can't really belong to this family. You may feel that one? Yeah. So, I mean, I laugh because I felt that way when I was a kid. So, you know, all the different things. So if you have parents and the parents divorce, the children feel as though they caused it, or they're the reason why, or, you know, it's like we just take on so much, and yet there's just no teaching. I mean, if people were teaching their children from the very, very beginning that you are creating and drawing to you all these things, all these experiences, all these traumas and shocks and accidents and rejections and so on, then, you know, they learn really early and they start taking responsibility. So most people have a really big reaction when I say, you know, you've created your reality. I'm talking everything, even diseases and illnesses, and even being born with, coming in with different ailments, or coming in with different imperfections. You know, coming in and having mental illness, or whatever you've come in with. You know, because people don't have the realization or the understanding or the knowing or the teachings that we create our reality, then it's like, oh, why is this happening? Why is this happening to my son or my daughter? Why is this happening to me? I must be being punished. Again, God's punishing me. I must be doing something wrong. So there's also a feeling in that victim energy that has a quality of, it has a sadness to it, but it also has a, you know, that poor me energy. And I've talked about this before, the perverse pleasure in one's suffering. And when you wake up to that, then again, you start changing how you experience life. When you stop being the victim, even though at times you might still feel like, oh, what the heck, man, look what just happened. Oh, dang, I called it in, it's me. That's really, you know, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to take hold of. It's a tough one to say, yep, I'm doing it, it's all me, I can't blame somebody else. Yes, it's a co-creation, and yet it's all happening. I mean, even having a car accident, you know, people say, well, what about accidents? Or what about little children that come into the world and they get killed, or they get, you know, harmed or molested? What about those little kids that are innocent and pure? Well, let's just back up. Let's go see what they've done. Let's go track and see how many people they violated or raped or murdered or mutilated or caused atrocities to. Okay? No one is free from harmful wrongdoing. Everyone has done things. Okay? Now, if we go into the energy or talk about people that have utilized the powers of darkness, you know, utilizing like using satanic worships or calling in evil, or, you know, like voodoo and different modalities where they literally do use black energy, dark energy, black magic. So if you've ever done that in your life, then of course, what do you think is going to happen? You think you're free from it? No, that doesn't go away. So, you know, you're still being affected by these frequencies or these energies inside. So whatever you have done, you know, on some level, you want to know all facets of it. So if you've, you know, raped and pillaged and murdered and beheaded people and tortured people, well, you're going to know the other side of that. It's just the way, you know, it's just part of the journey, part of the soul's evolution is to know all facets of creation. The good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, the light, the dark, all of it. So you might be in the darkness right now, who knows? Maybe you had all those beautiful light experiences and now you want to know the dark. But basically, my sense is right now, that's not what's happening for you. mostly what's happening is you're trying to unravel all this stuff from the past. So, you know, relationship is the best place to see and unravel stuff, is because relationship, when you open the heart and start feeling love, it's like, just imagine if you've got like a lid on something and you open that lid, well, whatever's inside is going to start coming forth, right? So when the heart opens, all the subconscious energy starts to come up. And then you have your reactions, you have your blaming, you have your how you want it or how you don't want it, and why is this happening? And all that's happening is you've invited someone into your life that's going to help you awaken these dark unconscious places inside. You've done it. You called them in. You called each other in if you're in relationship. Even your children, you know, it's like you make these soul agreements even before you come into the body to have certain people in your life, to have certain children. So all of your incarnational experiences, what's happening now is we are literally unraveling lifetimes of pain and suffering, lifetimes of injuries and hurt experiences. So most people have hundreds of lifetimes. There's some people that have over 1,000. I've actually met people that had well over 1,000. And it was interesting because even still, in the awareness that they're still in that victim mentality. So it's like all the learning and teachings that you've experienced, somehow each time you incarnate, you totally forget what you've learned, which sucks. But something kind of holds through. Otherwise, some of the people that are doing things in the world wouldn't be doing them if they didn't have the memory. You know what I'm saying? Teachers and people that are sharing the knowledge and wisdom. Yeah, and yet, you know, when we come in, everything is forgotten. The blinders come in, the veils kind of cover everything up, and you forget. And then it's the unraveling to bring back your divine light, the truth of who you are. So being responsible, taking responsibility. Before we get going on the clearing, I want you just to take a moment and just have that, just be aware of what that feels like when I say to you, you know, you created your life. Go ahead and think about something. Okay, here's a good one. Think about something that felt a little traumatizing. Think about something where you felt victimized, where you felt powerless, where you felt helpless, where you felt out of control. Maybe it has to do with finances, or maybe illnesses, or maybe family, or maybe relationships. Doesn't matter. I want you just to go ahead and think about that. Bring something into your awareness where you can just remember. Remember that feeling. Remember the instance. Remember the circumstances. Remember the event. And let yourself feel what happens in your physical body. And then notice when you're doing that, is there any quality at all of feeling victimized? Even just a little bit or a lot, okay? Okay, so here's the thing. Now stay with that. Let that feeling be there. Just let it be there. It's a charge in the body, right? You can really feel it, mostly probably strongly, like second chakra, belly area, emotional center area. Okay, so now just pay attention and notice in your physical body what happens when I say to you, well, you created it. You brought it to yourself. You brought this on yourself. Do you feel a little angry with me? Uh-huh. A little anger can present, or a little like rejecting what I'm saying. Yeah. So and also a quality of wanting to defend yourself. Okay. So with those feelings, those very feelings of wanting to defend yourself, wanting to protect yourself, getting angry because I'm saying that, those are areas within where there's like a refusal to believe or to accept that you've created your reality. Okay? And partly what's happening, I think this is important for you to really understand. This is consciousness, awareness, conscious teachings. If you haven't had a lifetime of conscious teachings and all of a sudden someone's telling you, oh, that divorce you had, or that loss of baby you had, or that rejection you had, you created that, you drew that in. What's the first thing? You're going to want to fucking kill me. Whoops, sorry. You're going to want to kick my butt, okay? You're just, you're going to have this rejection thing, okay? So, so here's the thing. Now, come in again, do it again. Think about that again. Think about the situation, the circumstance, the event, whatever it is that made you feel victimized. And go ahead now, just go ahead and own. I don't want to believe that I drew this to me, that I created this, that I caused this to happen to myself. Okay, just really own that truth for a moment. Just really let yourself have it. Nope, I don't want to believe that I did that. Nope, I don't want to own it. Nope, I could never have done that. I wouldn't do that. But all those sensations, all those feelings of creating. Okay, now notice how that's a little bit more relaxing when you can give the denial. Can you feel that? Yep, okay. That's a little bit easier to just go and let yourself really own. So here's the thing about any process. If you're having a reaction to something, then give yourself permission to have the reaction. Have the denial, have the no, have the resistance, because when you do, then the barriers start to come down. Okay, so now that you've let yourself just go ahead and have the resistance, have the big no, really go ahead and just really make sure you really claim that. Nope, I would never do that. I didn't do that. I'm a victim. I didn't do anything wrong. This all happened to me. I'm being punished. I'm being hurt. I'm being the one who's victimized. Okay, just really own it, own it, own it. Okay, now, just go ahead again. Okay, now I'm going to say to you again, okay, you created your reality. You drew this to you. It's a co-creation. You drew it to you so you could unravel the past. Okay, so now, notice how, now that you've had a little bit of opportunity to resist, see if that's a little bit easier to hear. Okay, even if it's just a little bit easier, okay? So now what I want you to do is now start claiming it. I am the creator. I did draw this in. I've had past lives that I've done different things. I want to know myself in all ways, so I have drawn this to me. I have created this, co-created this. I've drawn it in. I've pulled it in. I pulled in the people. I pulled in the events, the circumstances. I drew it in. I did it. Okay, now notice how that feels. Does it feel a little less intense, a little less resistance? Okay, now go ahead and just claiming I am responsible. I created it. It's my reality. I created it. No one did it to me. There's no victim here. So in that energy field, there is going to be the quality or feeling of victim. Now remember, whatever you hold inside, whatever you've lived, whatever traumas, whatever experiences that have caused you to have pain or despair or anything that has to do with any kind of a negative emotion, that energy is inside of your soul imprint, but it's inside your physical body now. And you are literally sending out a frequency, and that frequency touches the energy field of others. And the people that come into your physical body, the entities, the dead people, are also people that have that same frequency. So you're going to pull in even more people into your physical body with the same kind of feelings, same kind of emotions, and then that compounds what you're experiencing. That's why when we do clearings and we take out a bunch of entities with those same feelings, you might still have a slight feeling, there might still be some emotion in there, but the intensity has absolutely shifted. And all we did was take out the other entities, that's all. A few other things too, past life clearing. But basically what I'm saying is you've got energies inside of you that are not yours. Every human being on the planet, other than maybe 3, have other energies inside of them. Some of them are swarming with energies inside of them that are not them. You are affected by what's inside of you that is not you. So clearings are an awesome way to get this stuff out. But just remember, whatever you feel, like when you're, your life, when you're creating, whatever you're creating, if you can remember and remind yourself, oh, there's something here for me. There's something here for me to discover and to unwind within. That's why this is happening. This is why I'm calling this in. And to really own that you're the one calling it in. It starts to change that feeling of victimization. But it also starts to reveal a deeper layer of victimization. Because it's inside, because everyone's had experiences where you felt victimized. You can't not, especially if you're smaller than somebody else, or even as a child, or even your parents, your parents getting mad, yelling at you, getting really big energy, scary energy, or even spouses, or different coworkers. It's everywhere. But that feeling of being victimized, it hits something inside. So what's really cool is when the body is literally free and clear of those kinds of emotions, because you've cleaned them out and you've released all the different energies that are contributing to that. Basically, you're not going to call stuff in, but even when you witness something, or even if something does happen, the body doesn't have a reaction. It's like you really recognize, oh, you're the one having a reaction. Okay? So in the clearing, as we start to unravel these places that are helping you to not take responsibility, that's what we're going to start unraveling today, that the feeling of being responsible, accountable for your life. Okay? You are the one who creates it. Okay? But what we're after, though, is the resistance to that. If we start clearing out some of that resistance, then what happens is you're not so resistant to the unraveling. Pretty soon it's like, all right, bring it on. Let's be done with this. Okay?